Hello, I'm Heather Broadbent, founder of All Mind Violin, curator of Violin Fitness and Violin Secrets Academy, where I train violinists all over the world how to play their favorite pieces and enhance their current skill sets. Welcome to Holistic Violin TV. Welcome you to my kitchen here in Bulgaria, my humble kitchen here, and I'm going to show you how to make Tikvenik, the specialty here in Bulgaria called Tikvenik. Now Tikvenik is called Tikvenik because it's made from tikva, pumpkin. So what you want is a pumpkin to make Tikvenik. So here I took the pumpkin and had it cut and the peel taken off so you can see the pieces, just manageable sized pieces, okay? So you may be wondering, what the heck is Tikvenik? Well, Tikvenik is basically kind of like baklava with pumpkin. It's sweet, but it's not honey sweet like baklava. If you're familiar with Bulgarian specialties, it's basically pumpkin banitsa. And banitsa, I can show you a little bit of what banitsa looks like. Banitsa is like a cheese, cheesecake kind of. It's made out of phyllo dough and their cheese, which is like feta. Okay, so this is banitsa here. And basically, we're going to be making that with pumpkin. So it's a great specialty for the fall coming up. And you're wondering, what the heck do I do with my pumpkin? And so you're going to like this very much. So I'll show you what you need first, okay? You need pumpkin. The pumpkin I used was about this big, wasn't very big. You'll see pictures of it in the blog post, but just a tiny pumpkin. I only used half of it for this, and I'm actually cooking the other half right now to make pumpkin bread out of it. So the pumpkin is in the oven. Okay, you're going to need just a cup to grate the pumpkin. So you're going to need a cup or something, a bowl, to put the grated pumpkin in, a grater for the pumpkin itself, okay, and then you're going to need some sugar, olive oil or sunflower oil or whatever oil that you use. Here in Bulgaria it's very popular to use sunflower oil because of the sunflower fields that are all over the place. It's very readily available. You're going to need cinnamon. This is how the cinnamon comes here in Bulgaria, just a little packet. And you can see here it's called canela, so it's written here canela, so you have the cinnamon. And last but not least, you're going to need phyllo dough or leaves. They're called leaves here, banitsa leaves here in Bulgaria. And this is the Familia brand that I like to use. So basically phyllo dough that you would use for more popularly known as baklava. So you would need a package of that. Okay? So let's get started just a little bit here in the process of making it. Basically, you take that pumpkin that you've cut and in the pieces, you have your grater and you just start grating away. You just grate the pumpkin. Very easy process, like grating cheese. Zucchini. I make a zucchini bread, and it's the same thing, grating the zucchini. So you just grate away. This pumpkin is actually a little green. I have to tell you the story of this pumpkin. I just posted on the Facebook page about a week ago my trip to the village, my friend's village. Here in Bulgaria, I play with the Gabriel Chamber Orchestra, and I have a colleague and special friend who plays who is a violist. There's three violi in the chamber orchestra. He's one of them, and he invited us to the village to spend the day with him and his family. So we went, and the story is they have some horses, and the horses got loose and started to kick the pumpkins off the vines. So this was one of the pumpkins that got kicked off the vine that they shared with us. So it's just a little green. It could have been a little bit on the vine a little bit longer, or it could have just sat around a little bit longer before I started to use it. But it'll be fine. It'll still taste really good. The texture is really nice. Just happens to be a little green on the outside, but not bad. It's very, very fresh. Very orange, very fresh, and I've separated the pumpkin seeds as well to make pumpkin seeds, dried roasted pumpkin seeds out of them. And pumpkin seeds are actually known to be very, very helpful and very healthful for bacteria in your digestive system. So if you're battling bacteria in your digestive system, start eating a lot of pumpkin seeds because it's very, very good for that. It's actually kind of like an antibacterial, I guess you could say. It fights against the bacteria. You have to eat a lot, but at least it's something that you can do to a natural way to start fighting the bacteria that's in your system. Okay, so I'll just show you what this looks like. And so you have the grated pumpkin here. You see that? Okay. So I'm going to start grading away. You don't need to see or watch me grade all this pumpkin. The next time I see you, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we have enough pumpkin here graded for at least one Tikvenik. You saw the size of the pumpkin in the pictures in the blog. If you haven't checked out the blog, definitely check out the blog. You can see the size of the pumpkin that I used. It wasn't very big. I cut it in half. I'm baking half right now in the oven to make pumpkin bread. And I used half for this to make Tikvenik, but actually half of that size pumpkin would make 2 Tikveniks. What I'm going to do is finish grating the rest of the pumpkin at another time and then put it in the freezer so that I can make Tikvenik again very quickly because the pumpkin will already be grated. So we have enough pumpkin grated here to get this Tikvenik going for you, okay? So the next step after you've grated the pumpkin is to take your phyllo dough, and we're going to open this up here and lay it flat is what you want to do, okay? So this one's just sticking together just a little bit. So we'll open this up. This comes with a nice plastic. I like to leave it on the plastic when I work with it. And I want to make sure we are truly at the beginning. Here we go. We are at the beginning and you have the phyllo dough laid out, okay? Now the other thing you're going to need is a pan to put this in. So we have this wonderful pan here, a typical Bulgarian pan. And you want to make sure that you have oil all over the inside of the pan, okay? Because we're going to be using this to put the Tikvenik in, all right? So we are just going to set this over here, do a little bit of reorganization. Okay, so the other thing, as far as sugar, you know, we're all on a different journey with our health and what we want to do with our health. So if you have no problems using white sugar, go ahead and use white sugar. If you're not using white sugar and just using brown sugar and making sure that you're not using the bleached refined sugar, that's fine too. Whatever sugar you want to use, you can use. And honestly, if you want to use honey, I'm sure that would work too. So you can kind of experiment with whatever you need in your dietary restrictions, okay? So, and the same with the oil, whatever oil that you want to use that would be healthy for you. Okay, so I'm going to take the oil. We're just going to put a little bit of oil here. My oil was very full, so it kind of exploded out. So we'll just go ahead and use that. You know, coconut oil right now is getting, it's really, really popular. I actually use coconut oil for my face, and so you can use coconut oil on this too. It'll have just a little bit different taste, but it'll be fine. So go ahead and put your sugar on, just like that. It's kind of like, it reminds me of making cinnamon rolls with my mom when I was at home. Using, you know, sugar and cinnamon. Okay, so you get that sugar in there, and then you take your cinnamon, and you get that cinnamon put around. Just rub that in. And you know your own preference, what you like. If you like more sugar than cinnamon than sugar, it's up to you. Just get that in there. And then you go to the pumpkin, and you put the pumpkin in, and you just layer that around. And you know, after doing this a couple times, after making the Tikvenik, you'll get kind of an idea of how much pumpkin, how much sugar, how much oil, how much cinnamon, all that good stuff that you like. And that's what makes it kind of more original, and everybody's Tikvenik a little bit different. So you just put that Tikvenik, you put the pumpkin in your Tikvenik, or tikva, as they say here in Bulgaria. And as far as the sheets, these sheets that I use, the Familia brand, they're very thin. You can get thicker sheets. They have a Odrinsky here. They're thicker, so you can use thicker sheets. And if you use thicker sheets, only use one at a time. If you use thinner sheets, which I'm using right now, you want to use 2 at a time. So you take this and you just start rolling it. And you want to have it as tight as possible with all that yummy goodness in there, okay? So you roll it up, and then you put it with a the side, the open side down into the pan, okay? And I start from the outside of the pan. This is typically what you do when you make banitsa. You start on the outside of the pan and you just put it right in there, okay? So I'll make another, we'll do another together. Take that oil, that explosive oil. I'm actually just gonna put some in my hand here. And that's why we have this wonderful little plastic bag around the oil. So it kind of catches the oil. Okay, so you get that oil all over. It's very, very important that you do have enough oil and that you actually get it all over on the sheet and not leave a space empty because you don't want it to be dry. All right, got that oil all over. Next step, get that sugar going. Put that sugar on there. Like I said, if you really like the sugar or the honey, you know, you want to get it on there as much as you want. You know, the other thing you can put in here too, that I'm not doing today, but you can put walnuts in here, or a certain kind of nut. Any kind of nut, your favorite nut. You can chop it up real small and put it in here. It's pretty tasty too. Okay, and then the cinnamon. Get that in there. The canela and Bulgarian. And it's really kind of fun. I like all the Bulgarian food. For me, it's extremely tasty, very, very good. And it's fun for me to share it with everybody around the world. Okay, so you got that cinnamon in there. Next up, the pumpkin, the tikva. You get the tikva in there. Today is the perfect day to do this here in Bulgaria because the last 4 days have been so hot. Very, very, very hot. And today's not so hot, so it's a good day to get the oven going. It's kind of cloudy outside. A little bit of sunny, but not too bad. Okay, so you're going to start rolling 2 sheets at a time, and you're going to roll as tight as possible without breaking the sheets. You want to keep the sheets all together. Okay, you roll that up. See? Just like that. And then you're going to put it in the pan. Again, the open side down, and you want to make sure that they touch here in the pan, that you don't leave any open space, okay? All right, so you continue to do that, and then the next one will go here, and then you start going on the inside. Okay, so you have it on the outside, as you can see. Then the next one will go here, and then you'll start putting these all on the inside, okay? So I'm going to do that now. Don't want to take your time and having you see me do this over and over again, and then I'll see you in a few. Okay, so now you've finished wrapping everything up, all the phyllo dough and everything. I'm going to show you how it looks at the end here. So I said to wrap it, and then we had the 2. The last time I saw you had the 2 on the sides, and then you start going in and in. It's like one humongous cinnamon roll. Okay, so you have it all rolled up, and that last one in there is really, really tight in there, okay? So what you do is you have this, and then you take your olive oil, sunflower oil, whatever oil you're using, put some in your hand like this. You can have it on both hands. And you just basically give it a nice little oil bath on the top. And the same thing, you want everything covered with olive oil, sunflower oil, whatever oil you're using. And make sure that it's completely covered, not one dry spot, because when it cooks, it's important that it's covered in that oil so it doesn't dry out. Okay? So there you go. It's ready to go, and now it's ready to go in the oven. And here, I put it at about 180 degrees Celsius, and every oven is different. You'll have to kind of check it out. For me, specifically in this Bulgarian oven, I put it in 180 degrees Celsius in the middle, and then I move it to the bottom so it gets cooked evenly all the way through. And you just have to kind of experiment with your oven, and if you're thinking Fahrenheit, you have to kind of do the calculations. Okay, 180 degrees Celsius is I think it's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll put it in the blog underneath so you know exactly for how long and what degrees. And then just keep an eye on it. You want it to be a nice brown cover on the top, and I'll show you once this gets cooked, I'll show you what it looks like at the end too, okay? Okay, so now we have the finished Tikvenik. I just took it out of the oven, so it's very, very hot, but I'll show you up close and personal. The finished Tikvenik. See how beautiful that is? Nice brown color that you have on the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of cut this open and have a little taste so you can see on the inside. So let me just grab a plate and a knife here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and give this a cut, and like I said, I just took it out of the oven, so it's really, really hot, and a good time to actually eat is, you know, let it sit for a while, and then you can go ahead and eat it, but just so you don't burn yourself. But here we go. I'm just too anxious, I can't wait. So let me just grab a fork. And let's check it out. So here we go. You can see the outside, really nice and yummy. And because it's fresh out of the oven, it's still pretty moist. My mouth is watering before I even taste it. All right. Okay, so we'll give this a try. The Bulgarian Tikvenik, the pumpkin is cooked really, really nice. Absolutely delicious. A little hot yet, but very, very good. And the consistency is just perfect, nice and crunchy on the outside. It's very, very good. So enjoy, make yourself some Tikvenik, and be sure to list in the comments below your thoughts and how your Tikvenik turned out. If you want to take some pictures, go right ahead. If we have some improvements on the recipe or things that you've tried differently, let me know and share with everybody else as well. So if you like this video, be sure to like the video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you on the next episode of Holistic Violin TV.